All right, all right. Well, welcome back. How we all doing today? How we all doing? Well, it was snowing this morning. Can you believe that? Snowing in April. Golly. Okay, well, I think we left this thing off on example 5, right? Example 5. So let me shoot that back at you. It's going to do that funny thing again. Ready? Whoa, craziness. And there we go. Example 5. Oh, and I need my annotator. Let's see here. Should have set that up in the beginning. There it is. Okay. All right, so I'll just read it while it's loading. Example 5, how much can you save by bundling services? All right, the OptiZone cable TV internet phone provider advertises a flat $95 per month for all 3 services for a new customer's first year. The company estimates that this will increase 10% for the second year. Pauline normally pays $49 for her monthly home phone service. Remember the days when people used to have home phones? I don't know how many people do anymore. Pauline pays $35 for internet service per month. That's a pretty good price. And $50 for cable television. She should switch over to streaming services, right? If Pauline's usages remains the same, how much will she save per month in the second year? How do we figure this out? Okay, well, what we have to do, let's think about this. The flat rate is $95, and it's going to increase 10% in the second year. So we have a flat $95 for all 3 services, and she's currently paying a price for each service separately. So if we add all these 3 numbers up here, we will get a number which we can compare to 95 to see if that's more or less. So here's the solution that's given here. We're going to first compute the monthly sum of Pauline's 3 services, right? We're going to compute the sum of her $49 home phone service, that's that number right there, $49. The $35 internet service, that's that number right there. And the $50 cable television service. When we add all those up, we get $134. So Pauline regularly pays $134 per month for all 3 services. So remember, if we were to figure out, well, what's the difference then? What's the difference? Well, 134 minus 95. I'm just going to grab my little handy dandy calculator. 134 minus 95. She could potentially save $39 a month that first year. Save $39 a month that first year. I just did that on my calculator. But we want to figure out something about the second year. How much would she save the second year? Well, to figure out the second year, we can't use $95, right? Because $95 is the first year. It's the introductory price. It's going to increase 10% the second year. So how do we figure out what a 10% increase from $95 is? Well, here's how we're going to do that. We're going to first figure out what 10% of 95 is. So we take 95 times 0.10. That's 10% in decimal form, right? That's percent is per 100. So we're going to divide by the 10 divided by 100 per 100 divided by 100, and we get 0.10 for 10%. So 95 times 0.10 plus 95 gives us $9.50 plus the 9. So this gives us $9.50, and the $95 is just $95. We add those 2 numbers together, and we get $104.50. So now, after the first year of promotion, Pauline will have to pay $104.50 for that flat rate for all 3 services. To figure out what she's going to save on the second year, we take our 134, which we got from just adding all 3 numbers up, and we're going to subtract the $104.50 that we found that's going to be her second year rate, and you subtract these 2, find the difference, and the difference is $29.50. Pauline would save $29.50. I didn't even feel like I needed to break out the ink on that one. That was pretty straightforward. Let's look at the next one. Next question is, how much would Pauline save if the second year increase was 25% instead of 10%? So same kind of issue, same kind of problem. And now we're going to figure out if it's 25% instead. So we're going to use much the same thing. So it's still going to be I need to turn my pen on. All right, so I still have to have the $49, right? 49 plus 35. I probably don't even need to write this because it's already there above me. But I want you to see where I'm getting this. There's the phone service. There's the internet service. There's the cable television service. And it already said we add all these up, you get $134. And then we're going to do something similar to what we did over here, right? To find out what 25% is. But instead of 0.10, we need to figure out what the other number is. What is 25? What is 25%? Oh, I don't like that. Looks like I got a 1 in front of there. There we go. What's 25% in decimal form? Start with that. That's my clock again. Huh? What is this? How do I convert that? Well, remember when 10%, to find 10%, I took 10 divided by 100 to get the number 0.10, which is right here. Okay? So I'm going to do something similar here. 25% is 25 divided by 100. And that's going to give me, I don't even need to break out a calculator out because I know I know a little trick on how to figure this out. And I'll show you that trick in just a second. 25 divided by 100 is going to be like this. So what I took my 25%, and I pretended there was a decimal place right there, right? Because I'm pretending I'm using 25%. And I'm going to move this decimal place over 2 points because 100 has 2 zeros in it, right? So when I divide by 100, I'm going to move that decimal place over 2, so I get 0.25 out of 25. 25 divided by 100 is 0.25. That's how I did that in my head. Just I move the decimal place over 2 places, right? Okay, so what am I going to do now? So I'm going to take this number here, and I'm going to plug it into that 95, right? So I'm going to need take this number here, and we have $95. That was the first year introductory price. I'm going to multiply 95 by 0.25. Why? Because that's a 25% increase. And I'm going to add $95 just to keep it similar. Some of you know a trick to make this go instantly, right? And all right, so there I am. And I feel like now I need to break out a calculator. I'm going to let you break out a calculator. You figure this out. You're going to get a number right here. All right? I'll have you break out your calculators and figure this number out. And then to find the savings, you need to find this number minus whatever that number is going to be. All right? I think you guys can handle that. And I'm going to let you do it because I don't want to go through. I just don't want you to copy these. I want you to actually think through some of these and get them done. So maybe you want to pause here. And then work on that. And then we'll go on to example 6. All right. Just giving you a minute to pause and unpause. Okay, we are unpaused now. Great. You gave it a shot. Good job on that last one. Example 6 here. Let's see what they want us to do. They want us to graph functions. All right. Well, graphing functions is not easy to do when we're playing around on Google Forms. So I'm going to basically just kind of trust your integrity here. I want to make sure you know how to graph these, and so play along. And when I ask you a question, it's going to be like a multiple choice. Can you graph this? Yes, no, maybe, kind of, sort of. All right. Piecewise function below gives a cost of the c of x. That's how I read that. The c of x, the cost function of x for x, where x is a number of text messages, right? C is going to be the cost of C is a function of how many text messages I send. It's going to cost more the more text messages I send. So that kind of works. The c of x from Horizon Cellular. And they want me to graph this function. So they gave me it in this wonderful, sophisticated math piecewise form, right? So this is a piecewise function. I know that because I see this little bracket thingy here, which tells me this function has 2 different occurrences. It has one occurrence that's just 32. Just 32. What is 32? 32, when you graph that, it's just a straight line, right, at 32. And it's for all numbers for when x is less than or equal to 400. So if the number of text messages is any number from 400 to less than that, it's just going to be a straight line, $32. It must be a flat fee. You must get the first 400 text messages free, or with a flat fee. So you might get the first 400 with just the plain old flat fee. And then after that we have a new function. The new function is $32 plus 11.11. What's that? That's 11 cents, right? We're going to charge 11 cents for every, what's this, x minus 400. Remember why that's x minus 400? what they're doing is they're saying, count how this x minus 400 is an expression that says, however many text messages you've got when they're over 400, and subtract that number by 400. Essentially, you're not counting the first 400 text messages. Why? You've already counted the cost of the first 400 with this 32 right here. So this 11 cents is going to be for every text message over 400. So for instance, if you sent 401 texts, 401, along with this function here, well, 401 is greater than 400, so I have to use this line over here. And the cost is going to be $32 plus 11 cents times 1, right? Because 401 minus 400 is 1. 1 times 11 cents is 11 cents. So my total cost will be $32.11 when I send 401 text messages. Can you see how that works? Let's look at the graph for that. All right. So here's this part. This part still stays the same, right? For all the text messages less than 400 or less, it's going to be just $32 flat rate. But once you get into this, what's this? Why is it going up now? Do you understand why it's going up? Because once we kick into gear with any number more than 400, once we get into gear with any number more than 400, it keeps adding 11 cents, right? 11 cents keeps getting added for every text message, which is why this is going up. We're getting charged more and more money. We're getting charged more and more money based on how many texts we send. The more texts, the more it costs. The first 400 are free with the basic rate plan, or the basic charge of $32, the base rate. But then there's 11 cents thereafter, which means this goes up. The more text we send, the more money we get charged, right? Cost function. I'm going to read you the solution, and let's see, I probably will explain much the same, similar to what I just went over. Notice there's a flat fee of $32 if the number of text messages is 400 or less, right? We notice that when the number is 400 or less, it's $32. Because the domain, that's a math term I want you to know. What is the domain in terms of math and functions? Remember my house is my domain? Remember that expression, right? The four walls of your house is your domain. I want you to think the domain is the side to side. It's all the x values, right? And then we talk about the opposite of domain, or the inverse of it, is range. Range is the up and down, okay? So like think of mountain ranges. Mountain ranges go up and down. My house is my domain. The four walls of my house, side to side, okay? All right, so because the domain, that's the x value, is the number of text messages sent, the values of x must be integers, right? Because you can't send half the text. That's what they're saying there. Integers. Integers are whole numbers, negative or positive. For integral values of x from 0 to 400, this can be graphed as ordered pairs that lie on a horizontal line, right? That's our c of x function. That's the straight line all the way up to 400. Uh-oh, I have a doorbell ring. And, oh, that's probably just a delivery. I'm not going to answer that right now. Wait, oh gosh. Yeah, I'm not going to even answer that. I'm just going to assume that's, all right, you're going to have to fast forward here. Give me a quick second. I want to make sure it's not somebody who wants me. Sorry about that. My apologies. That could have waited. I just thought I wasn't expecting anything today, and I thought, what if it's somebody who wants to talk to me for something? Okay, apologize. Sorry about that. All right, where were we? Okay, we were at the c of x equals 32, right? So it's just going to be a flat line. It's always 32, no matter what, how many text messages I send. It's still just $32 up until the point where I go over 400. Once I go over 400, what happens? They're charging me 11 cents each time. That's what this expression here is saying. It's saying 11 cents times the messages that go over 400 minus 400, because you're not counting. This minus 400 says ignore the first 400 messages. Charge 11 cents for every message that goes over 400. Does that make sense? So now we have the base fee, $32, charging 11 cents for every message that goes over 400. Okay. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to scroll down. All right. right, and for integral values of greater than x, the ordered pairs line on the line. So we could actually put this into y equals on our calculator. And I showed you last time how to put piecewise functions, kind of simulate those in your calculator on different lines. And then this is what this piecewise function will look like. You got a flat line because it's always $32, and then boop, it starts going up because we start charging 11 cents for every text message sent. Okay, so what is a cusp? I'm about to ask you a question about cusps, and I'm not sure if we ever went over what cusps are in math, so I decided to include this little image here. A cusp is like a turning point, right? This is a cusp. These 2 points here are cusps. This is where the function changes direction. Here I have a linear part of a linear function. This is part of a linear function, right? And all of a sudden the linear function stops, and I got this little shape here. And what that little shape there looks like, that looks like to me like a quadratic. Okay, and then I got this one right here, and I don't know if this is part of a quadratic or an exponential. It could be either, but this obviously turns and goes a totally different direction. So a cusp are these turning points. All right. So the question is, the graph in example 6, what are the coordinates of the cusp? Okay, so now we know what cusps are. Let's go back and see what the coordinates are for the cusp. Pause the video and see if you can tell me what the coordinate points for the cusp are for this graph here, okay? This is the graph I want you to do. Pause it, see if you can do this. It's very important that you can read a graph. Great, you've paused it and you came up with something. All right, well, I hope you're at this point where this is not, I want this should be easy at this point. I hope it is. If it isn't, no big deal. We just need to get on this. We need to make sure you can do this. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. Notice I'm drawing an up and down line, and I'm drawing a side to side line right at that point. So I know you all knew that was the cusp, right? You all knew that this was the cusp. Some of you might have known how to write the coordinate point. Well, how do we write coordinate points? We write the x value first, and we write comma, y, and we put them in little brackets like this, okay? So hopefully you know that the x value, well, it says x right here, right? So 400 is your first number because right there it hits 400. That's your x value. So 400 comma, and what's my y value? How do I find that? Well, that's the up and down, the c of x, right? I'm actually kind of disappointed they put c of x there. I was hoping they'd put something like y, but I can kind of see why they're doing it in this case. Because c of x is our function. Remember we tell you that y is really the same thing as f of x. It's really the same. It's the output, right? X is the input. X is the input. It's the number I usually putting into a function. Oh, I didn't want that. Input. And then y is the output. Is the output. And what that output means, that's the number I care about, right? That's usually the y value is the number I'm trying to find. Like in this case, I'm trying to find the cost of how much this company is going to charge me for text messages. I care about how much I get charged. To find out how much I get charged, I have to stick the number of text messages I sent that month in the function. And then once I put it in the function will spit out the output, which is how much it will cost me, because that's what I care about. I want to find the output. I got to stick the input in it to find the output, right? That's why y is the same thing as the f of x, or in this case, the c of x. All right, so that was a whole bunch to say 32, right? So x value is 32. My c of x or y value, my x value is 400. I misspoke. My x value is 400. Sorry. My y value is 32. My c of x value is 32. That's the coordinate points for the answer to this other one over here. Let's see. Yeah, so, okay, all right. What was it? 400, comma, 32, right? Hopefully that's pretty good. All right, take a break now. Take a break at this point, and work on these. Maybe, I've incorporated breaks to try to pace you along. These lessons are supposed to be, like a week's worth of instruction. Distance learning, these could take even longer. Maybe they're going to take a week and a half. But I intend for these to be multiple days of instruction. So don't get discouraged if there's a lot here, because you should be taking small bites, all right? If you need help for any of these, let me know. I'm available from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. most days, depending on whether there's other meetings going on. And sometimes I can even be reached between 1 and 2. So in that afternoon block, I'd be available earlier if you needed me, but I figure most of you might be just waking up or something. So noon to 2 most days, depending on what else I got going on. I'm trying to make this a daily habit. I'm also bouncing around in other Zoom meetings, so you got to try to make an appointment with me. Let me know. I'll try to do the 12 to 1 thing pretty regular no matter what. And then the 1 to 2 thing, I might jump in a Zoom meeting with other teachers, so we can also collaborate and work together on how to provide you the education you deserve. So you've got more questions to ask. There's a little video here. Yeah, you're going to see some more piecewise functions, and you're going to have to explain them and interpret them and run with them. And yeah, this is the part where I let you guys go crazy and do the independent work and ask questions. Yeah, and there's this one here, like I'm going to ask you to, on this one where I said, could you put this piecewise function, y equals, into your graphing calculator? Do you know how to do that? If you don't know how to do that, I've got a video above this, right, that kind of shows you how to do that. If you forget, well, there's another video that's not by me. The first one was by me. This other one is by somebody else where it shows you how to do it, okay? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to do. Make sure you finish the reflection in the learning target, and then congratulations when you get to the end. Congratulations to you, okay? All right. Have a great day, everybody.